two, one. We are live. Welcome back. It's International Carl doing another video for you guys. We're going to get into a lot of conversations here about mental health here in the UK, what it's like as an American living here in England, life in the UK, mental health crisis, the challenges that are going on, what's facing the NHS, what we can do about it, all that kind of stuff. My experience, I want to get into it because I have had a roller coaster of a ride the last 30 some odd days. For those that don't know, I've been in the hospital since Christmas Day and been going through what I like to call a mental wellness journey, struggling, but getting better every day. And I wanted to update you guys. That's the Carlys, the Sit and Spins, the Howards of the world, the people who have literally take time to say hello to me and reach out to me and check on me through this whole journey. It's not easy. And it's not easy having the conversations of mental health awareness, what's going on. It's hard to tell you, me, my mom, my dad, my friends, my family that I struggle with mental health issues and had a mental health breakdown. And I've been here in the hospital, here in Derby, um, in a facility, giving me health, giving me care. Let me see. I got some medicine here. What we got here? I got sertraline. I've been taking diazepam. I've been taking Zoflicon. I mean, I've been doing a lot of things, but also behind the scenes, what I've been learning about mental health. When you have there's people who have acute mental health issues. So it could be depression, it can be things of that nature. And what's going on with the world right now in the UK, high inflation, um, not the best economy going forward right now so far. High energy cost prices is causing a lot of people to stress and to panic and really a collapse in people's mental well-being. And I'm no different because I have a lot of pressures that go on in my life around me from, you know, different lawsuits here and there, businesses issues, money issues. I'm just like anybody else out there. I'm just like you. Trust me when I say that. And but Carly, thank you for joining. I know you can't stay long. I know you're at work, but thank you for tuning in. And I just wanted to talk about it, like what it's like. There's some things that I found very interesting as I went through this medical mental health journey of mine. And hey, VC, it's interesting in the fact that I learned something that it was pretty shocking to me. You would think that if you had a mental health breakdown, that the NHS would be better prepared in this regard. And I'll tell you this, okay? So there's this thing where I keep telling the staff and the nurses and the team, because they're excellent people. They work long 14-hour shifts, I think 14 and a half hour shifts, so they do a lot of work from the nursing staff, from the RNs and all the way up. They do a lot of good work and they really care and they're passionate about their patients and what they do. But what was shocking to me was that as I got through that, it's like I understand there's a role of medicine, like medicating people, because there's people who have acute mental health issues, and then there's people who have chronic mental health issues. They're schizophrenic. It's really on kind of the other end of the scale, where in my case, I'm not schizophrenic. I'm not necessarily bipolar. I've not been diagnosed as bipolar. That's good to understand for myself. But there's people that have acute issues. And so, it's just narrow and they're dealing with a hard time. And what I learned about myself was I necessarily didn't have all the tools that I thought I had about who I am as a person to cope with high stress, high anxiety situations. And so, with that, I have learned on this journey talking with the psychologist, talking with the what they call the occupational therapist, going to talking and I want to say, I don't want to use the term training, but awareness of anger management, stress management, um, you know, learning who I am inside more, so that I can come up with the term is coping mechanism, coping strategies, things that help ground you, level you, and understand that you could be doing what they call, the term that I learned there is catastrophizing. And I think we all do that a little bit to some degree, where we will catastrophize a situation. We can always see the worst in, but there's always this, there's, it's like the road in front of you is paved, but if you're catastrophizing, all you see is the worst. You see potholes, you see, um, a lava pit you got to jump your car over, you see that. And life really isn't like that. And if you stop, and what I've learned is, if I just stop, breathe, and listen for a little bit, I can calm myself down, get into a place of sometimes some meditation, to just block the noise out. If I can block the noise out, I can then stop worrying to the nth degree, come down and have some better thoughts in my head, so I don't feel a certain way. So then I don't react a way that's negative, to give myself this circle of negative outcomes. And I see some of this stuff, um, not just here in the hospital, but I also see these things as it relates to, the society, people who are struggling with paying the next bill that they have, energy crisis, putting petrol in their car, diesel in their car, putting food on the table. The stresses and the worries of life, it's going to impact all of us. And the challenge, of this crisis is, do we as a people, as a population, do we think we have prepared? Are we all prepared enough for this? And grounding ourselves in places that, allow us to have positive outcomes, positive thoughts. I thought I always had them, to be honest with you. And I look at myself now and I say, you were fooling yourself. It's a self-reflection into myself, to look deeper into me, to who I am as a person, as a man, as a father, and to explain to myself that, I can do better, because I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to make mistakes, you know, whether it be, any part of my life. I'm going to make mistakes, because everybody does. But what I can do is I can control, I can try to ground myself and level head myself a lot better than what I have done in the past. So, that's what's been going on. I mean, there's always going to be pressures in my life and your life, and that's not going to change. Um, but I want everybody to know that I'm doing better. I'm doing a lot better. If my mom sees this video, which she might see this video, she tends to watch. I'm doing good, and, I'm happy and safe, and, it's just been a journey, and I think, um, yes, there's a good point that, someone has just put. Let's put this on the screen. It's like quicksand. We ignore the warning signs and don't realize until quicksand, it's up to our neck. Exactly. That's what I found myself in. It was like quicksand. I was sinking and sinking and sinking, getting lower and lower and lower into this level of depression. And I couldn't seem to get myself out. The more I tried to move, the harder the suction was to push myself back down, um, with this acute depression or situation that I was in, because it's frustrating. And I had to sit down and identify some of my triggers that trigger me. I was with a psychologist yesterday, and I was doing an exercise of writing down triggers. Certain things for me that trigger me might be mundane to a lot of people. But, like I hate when things are chaotic or in a very chaotic way, or somebody is can be very disruptive. It upsets me. It can upset me, trigger me, and trigger my anger. And then that anger can then trigger an emotional feeling in myself, which then triggers me to do something that could have this negative impact on my life that then just keeps circling and circling and circling and pushing you down into a place you don't really want to be. So it's been an interesting journey. If I'm being frank, there's some things about the NHS and mental health crisis that was, in terms of the care, that was shocking to me. That I learned that the NHS doesn't necessarily, in some of what they call their acute mental wards, they don't necessarily have a psychologist on the ward. So they don't have psychologists for people there to treat and get into more root cause analysis and deeper understanding of what's going on. Think of the psychologist as the person, the whole line in the movie where, oh, it all started when I was a baby type of thing. You're sitting on the couch. And I was shocked by that. And so, here in Derby at the Derby Hospital, this has been a new thing. Apparently, the psychologist only started in November or something like that. I think it's something like that. And I get there'll be struggles in it as they get up to speed in that. But there, to me, for me, my care was more like I needed that third party neutral person that I could talk to, that I could connect with, but be in a safe place. Because, the nursing staff, man, they're just brilliant. There's so many nurses that I could name, from Molly to Perry to Cara to Greg to Sonia to oh man, to Saffron. There's so many I would end up just missing out. Ellie, I mean, there's just so many. They're just wonderful, and they just do a great job because they care. To the psychologist Alice, just fantastic people who care. But when it comes to NHS mental health care and the care that they provide, in my view, they put too much pressure on the nurses to do what I believe the psychologist should be doing and be leading on in that regard. And so I'm happy to see that they're putting psychology part of the treatment, more into the treatment of people with mental health, acute mental health issues. And I also believe they need to figure out a way to do it for people who have chronic mental health issues. There's some people in there that are, chronically sick, chronically ill. They can't tell you Tuesday from Thursday type of thing. Today is Saturday, yet they might think it's Monday, and they're not getting to the root causes that drive a lot of their issues. I got a comment from Soulstar. Hey, Soulstar, I've never seen you on the channel, but let's put your comment up there and let's read it together. After seeing my mom and brother being stabbed to death, my dad, as a child, I've suffered severe PTSD, depression, and anxiety for years. I was ashamed to ask for help. And that is, I mean, there's a point that you mentioned in there, Soulstar, is the same. And I'm sorry that life has dealt you such a weak hand or a strong hand. I mean, it's unfair for you to have to go through to see such horrors in your life. But you're right. PTSD, depression, anxiety, and asking for help. And it's okay to ask for help. I've always tried to project strength, project success, project the best life that's possible. But in my own life, there are plenty of struggles that I have to deal with and I have to learn to deal with, and I have to hit them face on in a healthy way. Because if you're not doing it in a healthy way, you spiral. And I like the example that somebody said with quicksand. It's like quicksand. It will weigh you down if you don't have the best coping strategies and support system in place. Now, I find the psychology and psychologist important role in it, because they allow you to have a third party neutral person who you can bounce ideas off of, who you can, try to deep dive the root cause issues better, because that is what they went to school for. That is what they've done. Where there's a place for medication and stuff like that, but there's still a place in mental health care where understanding psychology of the brain of the person, what drove you to these points, is very, very important. So thank you, Soul Star, for that comment and participating in the chat. I really appreciate it. So hey, first time here, I gotta always say that. I'm supposed to say that at the beginning. I forget. It's been a long time since I've gone live, really. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to get a couple more thumbs up to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated if you did. Yeah, so I'd like to do that. Also, I'd like to invite you to join me in my Discord. We have a Discord server set up where we will talk more, and I give you a more behind the scenes view of what's going on in my life. If you find it interesting, talk about a lot of stuff in there, and we can chat and connect more one to one there. If that's what you like. If you don't, no big deal. But I'm trying to see what we can grow there. I've been encouraged to have a Discord, so we'll grow a community there and see what happens with that. Also, you'll see on the ticker, anybody that's suffering from a mental health issue here in the UK, you can text the word shout to 85258 on your phone, and somebody will contact you immediately. Very, very important. So just sharing that with you. Thank you. So yeah, that's what's been going on. That's the latest. I haven't seen Howard on the live stream. I'm certain I'll get a message from him apologizing. And Howard, if you're seeing this later, you don't have to apologize. Thank you so much. There's been several people from this channel, from this community, that have reached out to me personally over the last 30 something days. And when I tell you it means the world to me, I really, really do mean that. It means the world to me that you've taken time out of your day, out of your life, to think about me and my well-being. People like Carly, who's a regular here on the channel. I mean, it really touched me. It really, 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 really did touch me. And I want to thank you for that very, very much. So yes. And that's kind of like the latest, I don't, I'm not sure I wanted to make this the longest of live chats. I just wanted to give an update, talk about it, and just let you know that, I'm just like you. I'm human, and I go through the ups and downs of life as it is, just like everybody else. And coming up with those coping strategies, coming with those, it's okay. Sorry, I got the Discord going as well. And we got VC, and VC's a regular too. Thank you. The road is bumpy, Carl, even with knowledge to help keep on track. So grateful to inspirational people who came into my life, and years later, we are still in touch, wishing everyone the same. That's right. That's right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I mean, I'm just in a better state mentally right now. It's one of those things, like I don't drink a lot. I don't really drink. We got Cedric Williams, Fine Arts. Thank you, Cedric, from California. Hey, brother. Cedric, I'm from California as well. Where are you from in California? I'm from Southern California. So, I have just been on a journey. It's one of those things, like, since I don't drink, I don't have, like, my vices is not drinking, and my vices isn't any hard illegal substances. So those aren't my vices. And I learned in this journey that what I've been doing is like that quicksand, letting it build up, sinking lower, and having no outlet for it. And so, I've learned to, so hello from San Francisco. Great. I'm from the LA area. So Yeah. Thanks for joining, brother. So appreciate that, man. The more the merrier. Thank you for joining. And Cedric, just so you know, I'll talk to you directly, since you're from Cali, since you're from the Yay area. Shout out to the Yay, pop your collar one time. Bing, Yee. So I got you. Um, you know, um, my channel. It's just about me. I'm a guy from California, Southern California, educated guy. I've lived over here for about 10 years. No, shoot, 10 years. Shit. I've lived in Europe since 2009. And I'm just kind of sharing that journey, going through the ups and downs, and I just share my life a little bit. That's really what this channel is about. I'm just sharing my life, documenting what's going on, and just trying to take people on the ride with it. If they find it interesting, please subscribe to the channel. We talk. We have the Discord. I think I put the Discord banner up, but let's put the Discord back up for those that might want to join or who join it later. I'll have it ticking around. But that's just kind of like a little background on my channel right there. And yeah, so mental health. Everybody will struggle with it at some point in their life. You might think you have all the tools, you necessarily don't, because everybody can get triggered. Road rage, everybody knows about road rage. That triggers people, right? Just somebody bumping you, just somebody speeding by you, cutting you off can trigger you, right? An anger trigger. And you got to think about road rage, how stupid it is. It's somebody who you'll never see again in life if you just let it go. There's no way you pass by that same car at any point in time in the rest of your life. But we all get triggered by it. Interested in Europe. Yeah, okay, cool. And so, yeah, so I'm not. I'm just trying to show that as I've gone. Another thing that I've also liked about the NHS. Let me be crystal clear. There's something that is my favorite is dessert at dinner time. There's always some different type of pudding, so our custard. So I really enjoy that. But also that there's no bill. When I leave the hospital, nobody's hitting me for some 100,000 pound bill. So yeah, so the medical benefits are fantastic in that regard. So Cedric's asked, share information specifically about medical benefits. So let me address Cedric's point real quick, because a lot of people don't know the difference between the U.S. and the U.K. System. So there's always this big, like the Republicans in the U.S. just the other week tried to pass some resolution to denounce communism and socialism, right? Something stupid like that, right? And what's interesting is, here they talk about the healthcare here in the UK as socialism. Now, I look at it as it's a great thing. Could it be better? Of course it could be better. Because in the UK you have single provider. You have universal health care with a single provider. In other countries, like in Germany, you have universal health care, but you have multiple providers. So you can choose between a ton of providers. So that's like the difference in the socialist medicine. Where in the US, California, like when I lived in California, Cedric, I had Kaiser. So you would be familiar with Kaiser. I had Kaiser Healthcare, so it's a private healthcare with different hospitals all over California. And I could go to either one of those and my doctor was there. Where here, my file travels with me anywhere I go in the UK. It doesn't really matter. There is no necessarily difference between there's different hospitals, but there's no bill to be paid when you come in or you come out, you know. And don't get me wrong, you can have some long wait times. I hear about it all the time, long wait times. I personally have never experienced any long wait time, just personally. But you read about it all the time. And I've said it a few times on my channel. I haven't seen these long queues, these long wait times that they talk about. But I'm not going to say they don't exist, but they definitely do exist. So I guess I'll take a chance right now to say, hey, if you're suffering from a mental health issue here in the UK, don't be afraid to text on your phone right now. Shout the word shout to 8285258. Somebody will contact you from a crisis team immediately to help you. Try to keep you safe, which is very important. And people can struggle for healthcare from all types of, from the whole range, from chronic to acute and anywhere in between. Anxiety, depression, PTSD, It's a journey, and we all think we have all the tools, but I promise you, you don't. You just don't. And it's okay to reach out for help. So hit that like button, keep hitting me in the comments. There's more and more people here. We'll just have a conversation about mental health crisis, what to do, how to do it, what's it like, and what I've been going through. So let's see here. We have Cedric coming again with a comment. Let's put it up there for you. I'm healing from Achilles tendon tear. Returned to work this week and making it with remains from my vacation hours. With the remains from my vacation hours. Yeah, and see, you gotta realize something as simple as a physical ailment, which is tearing your Achilles, which I'm assuming that must have hurt, can depress you really, really hard. And as he's saying, he's sharing that he was depressed for the first week of his injury because you don't have your momentum, you can't move like you want to move, and there's a lot of ways. And so, what I've learned through my journey of my healthcare, mental health care recovery, is for me things that I can do to distract myself from the catastrophizing that I do in my life, the things that get my anxiety up or my depression up, which I think the worst is getting ready to happen, is have you ever thought, and this was great, this is one thing that I did to kind of get better. Is it simple? We all did this as kids. Every kid did this. It's impossible that you didn't. It's just color, doing a coloring book. It just sits there coloring the lines of some picture and just color. Because guess what? You start trying to make something look really nice, or pretty, or whatever word you want to use. But guess what it's doing? It's blocking you out from everything. Like everything and anything in the world doesn't even matter because guess what? You just focused on just coloring in a coloring book. Those are some of the things that I've done. Or meditation helps, stopping and pausing, counting to 10, um, different strategies to cope when the anxiety kicks in. Because I can feel when the anxiety kicks in for me, you know, um, and the depression is harder to sense, but I can feel the anxiety. And then it's at that moment I feel the anxiety that I usually have learned over the last couple of weeks to ground myself, think about and distract myself into something more positive so I don't go in the evil or the spiral. Let's see. VC has said, would love to live in another country, but have seen how friends suffer without the safety nets. However, full big holes we have in the UK. Yes. And so Sid Spin has shared hers. She was hit by a car when she was 11. Had her right leg torn off. I was in hospital for 5 months, needed a ton of surgeries, 11 liters of blood. Oh my goodness, physio and all that. And I'm certain you went from being, they use the term able body to paraplegic, and how hard that is to get through that when you're able to walk your entire life up until that point. And some person, ends up changing the whole course of your life. Maybe they were in a rush. And think about all the treatment that you got. Not a single bill. Not a single bill. No deductible. No nothing. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you for this comment. Positive thinking and meditation and prayer. But the thing is, Cedric, and I want to get to this point. Everybody can say this, like what you've just written right here. Easily said. It's written right there, right? Easily said. Meditation, prayer, right? Positive thinking. Very easy to say. Hard to do. Hard to find the time. Hard to find the space. And hard to find the realization that you're depressed, that you're anxious, that you are having negative thoughts of maybe harming yourself. When you get to the point where you're thinking about harming yourself, that's when the red flags, the lights need to go off. And that's when you have to stop catastrophizing. You have to realize, whoa, tomorrow the sun comes up. It will come up tomorrow. Stop and think. Don't woe is me. And understand, guess what? My uncle, he always has this saying, and I always butcher it. I always butcher it, and I'm gonna butcher it now to my Uncle Quintus. I'm gonna butcher it. But it goes something like this: like the past is in the past, the future is unknown, but today is the present, and that's the gift. Something like that. I always butcher his saying. But that is what it is. Today, you can fix it. You can fit, if tomorrow's unknown. You can address tomorrow. And whatever the issue is that you're dealing with in the past, hey, the gift is now. You have the gift of now to understand how you got there. Could be maybe you got a relationship issue that's depressing you. Maybe you have a family issue that's depressing you. Maybe you have an injury issue that's depressing you. There's, PTSD. There's a whole host of issues of how you can get there. But the thing is recognizing that you're there and then trying to ground yourself. And that's going to be the struggle and the journey that I will be on for the rest of my life. I've treated this like my close friend Charles. Um, I can't say his last name, but what I can say is, um, you know, for him, it was a realization that he had a drinking problem. And I treated this like AA, you know, and said, hey, I have a problem here and I better address it. And I got to find a way to address it. And the best way to address it is to admit to myself I have a problem. Once I've done that, I'm able to look and continue to look and go on the journey of self discovery to get better. I don't want to fool myself. I don't want anybody here to think I fooled myself, you know. So let me get to some of these questions here. Hit that like button if you're here. The more people, the merrier. We can have this conversation, this chat. Cedric Williams from San Francisco is saying sometimes it's mind over matter. That's right. VC is saying meditation isn't easy, but brilliant. Sitting still and quiet should be easy, right? It's very hard to sit still and quiet. We are told to exercise our body, but not emphasize how stilling the busy mind is. The mind is always busy. We got Naughty Dread. Who's Naughty Dread? Let me see. Welcome to the channel. Have never seen you on the channel, but thank you for joining in. Hit that like button. I really appreciate it. When it's all too much, too big to deal with, stop, break it down, and work on something small. Don't matter what it is. Just make a small start. Things feel more manageable after. And that's the thing. If you can start, and that's what I've been like really, really trying to address with myself. So for me, thank you, Naughty Dread, for that comment. And that's what happens. That's the pitfall that I think I fall into, at least. And I'm imagining a lot of people do. You have a problem in your life and you want to try to solve all of it one and go. Doesn't matter where the issue is, but you're trying to solve it. But you haven't taken the time to break it down into little bite-sized pieces. And you haven't taken the time to, okay, this is how I'm going to solve it. Boom, 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 boom. But have you taken the time to understand how you got here? So and then you don't make the same mistake. I'm going to make mistakes. We're going to always keep making mistakes. That's just how it is. Hey, LC, let me shout out LC. LC, thank you. Thank you so much. She's a long timer here. So I'm always going to shout out my long time people here. So I'm going to also put this back up on the screen. We're in a Discord. We're trying to build a Discord place here where we can chat and talk and stuff like that. If you want to join, join. If you don't, you don't. No big deal. But I'm going to push for it because Sit and Spin has put this together, and I'm enjoying it because I'm able to connect real time with people and not just have to wait till I go live every time to check with people. So hit that like button, hit the comment button, consider subscribing to the channel. Helps it out, does it a lot. And maybe by you doing this and sharing this video, you help somebody who sees this video, who thinks that the end is near, and it's not near. It's not. Today is the gift. The present is the gift. So yes, let's see what other comments we got. The comments are starting to come through, and I'm loving that. Yes, yes, yes. And I think finding these positive outlets is important. You know, like I said, Sit and Spin said earlier, it's like quicksand. PTSD, depression, anxiety, acute mental illness, acute issues can feel like quicksand. Somebody that has chronic mental illness, they're schizophrenic, for example, that is just they're born that way, and it has to be treated, in the professional way. But when it comes to PTSD, depression, anxiety, you know, and maybe something else I leave out, it's about grounding yourself, recognizing where you're at, accepting it. And that's what I've done. So, my mom reached out to me so long ago how proud she was of me. And it's because I told her, like, I'm treating it like it's a AA group, like I'm in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm not an alcoholic. I barely drink. Like, I literally barely drink. I don't think I've had a sip of alcohol all year so far. I didn't have none in December. I might have had one or two in November, like one or two in November. Like, literally, I don't really drink like that. But I'm treating this trip in the hospital, this stay in the hospital, like I'm in Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's just standing up and saying, I have a problem. I have to admit that problem. And then we can address that problem, because you can't fix what you don't admit. Hey, that's a good little saying. I'm gonna quote that. You can't fix what you don't admit. That's what I'm gonna say. Here we go. Here we go. Let me see some more comments on here. We got found helpful to always think I have the choice to how I react to any situation, what I say, what I think, what my actions are, so powerful, like a superpower. Yeah, and that's the thing. So yesterday I was with the psychologist, and I'll go back a little bit. We were talking about anger, what triggers you angrily, right? And I think we've all been there. Most people have been there. It doesn't matter if you're, unless you lived your whole life by yourself, then you've never had an argument with somebody that you care for, that you're romantically involved with. And sometimes what can trigger you can be just them saying, you yell and they yell back, and then it just is a constant escalation, right? And it sets you off because you're like, man, why are you not recognizing that I'm upset, and why you got to participate and making me more upset? And you're thinking, if you think about that, that's a backwards way of thinking. You know, you got to control you. You can't control them, and you have to, be mindful of your own actions. Hard to do, especially when feelings are involved. Very hard to do. Very hard to do. So let's see here. We got LC saying, everybody saying hi, but too much stiff upper lip about nothing wrong. Exactly. Now, I've learned that about the people here in England, the UK, this whole stiff upper lip, and admitting you need it. There's this push in this society here in the UK that I've seen that's kind of pervasive about a stiff upper lip, the British stiff upper lip, which to me, I think does a disservice to the people, because it's telling people just get on with getting on. And it's unfortunate, because at some point in time, you have to admit there's a problem. And if you admit it, you can fix it, you can work on it. But if you don't, you're lying to yourself. Got to bounce. Thank you, Cedric. Cedric says he got to bounce. Have fun out there in San Francisco. Appreciate it. Depression loves come every time. Check in, keeping you from checking out. It reminds me of the Eagles Hotel, California. We got to bounce out of depression. Oh, I thought you said you had to leave. We got to bounce out of depression. Depression loves company. Man, does depression love company. Oh my goodness. It's quicksand. Depression loves company. It is literally quicksand. It's going to pull you down, pull you down, pull you down. Why? Because it's just looking for a friend to to enjoy that with. Don't. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. What a saying. Do not expect results from work you didn't do. So, like I said, I'm on a mental health journey. I'm just trying to get better, like anybody else, but I'm trying to put in the work so I can be a better person. So then it just that the expression of love that I want to give to the world, that I want to give to the people that love me, I can be a better person. It's easier said than done. It isn't fixed in 30 days. It hasn't been fixed. I am not fixed. I'm not the finished article. That's for sure. That's the thing I have to admit to myself. When I'm out of the hospital, the problem's still there. I still got problems. I'm still part of the problem. But I have to use the tools and the resources that are available on the NHS or out there to, I've worked on identifying my triggers. I've worked on writing them down and then researched and looked for additional help outside of the NHS or outside of the quote unquote hospital. And if you ignore it, got another comment. If you ignore, nothing's going to get done, and you'll still be in the same place, paying the same lip service to yourself. VC, ditch the toxic, step away, move on, drop the baggage, and don't pick up anyone else's. The taker's going to take. I like the musical note at the end. That's a good one, VC. That's a real good one. So yeah, man. That has been what's been going on, and I accept that I don't have all the tools. I accept I don't have all the right answers, but what I do accept is that I have a problem. And since I can admit that to you, I can admit that to myself, and I can admit that to my loved ones, then I could do something about it. Because once you do that, you're on the right journey. You're on the right path. Don't give up. And for those living in the UK, I've had it scrolling this whole time down here, right here. Text shout to 85258, and you will get in touch with mental health professionals immediately. They will call you, they will reach out if you are that low. So please do that. Again, guys, your comments, your likes, your thumbs up, it helps. This video could help somebody. You never know, it could save somebody's life if you press that like button or you share this video with somebody. You never know. It's just an open conversation and open dialogue. And so I'm just so thankful that everybody who has watched this video or who's going to watch this video in the future, um, I'm appreciative of it for the kind words that usually will come in the comment section. I appreciate it. And yeah, so, hey, we got Andy Williams here. Andy Williams, I'm not sure if I've seen you before, but accepting the problem is a massive step. Thank you. Well done, Carl. Thank you, Andy. I think I've seen Andy Williams here before. I try to get familiar with the regulars. We do have some regulars to the channel, and this is a reminder for anybody that's watching live right now or going to watch later. I got a Discord. We started it up. Here is the link. Let me make sure I get my finger right. It's right there. Going that way. Consider signing in. If you don't, it's no problem. If you do, even better. We'll see you in there. It's just a way we can real time chat and talk and just get to know, So we'll see what we build in there. We're just trying to build something, a nice community in there, and we will go from there. I don't really know. I'm new to like running a Discord server. They call it a server, so I use the term server. So we got more comments. Yep, I've seen you before, Andy. Thank you. I knew I have. I knew I have. I knew I have. Peace and blessings. Thank you. Where's Howard? We miss him. VC is saying, "Where's Howard?" I should message Howard right now. He's going to be so mad that he's not here. But I'm certain he's going to message me and apologize for not being here. He always does. So he messaged me yesterday, actually. So Howard will definitely be mad that he's not here. Andy is a regular. That's right. Andy is a regular. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So yes, it's been what? Geez, Christmas Day. So since Christmas Day, I've been in the hospital, guys. It has been a long journey of self-discovery and reflection, and admittance to saying you have a problem. If you can admit to yourself you have a problem, if your vice is alcohol, then that's your vice. If your vice is illegal substances, that's your vice. You have to admit that you have a problem with that. If you have if your vice, I don't want to call it a vice, but if you have PTSD, you need to admit you have PTSD. If you have depression, you have to admit you have depression. Now, what happens when I say a vice for PTSD or depression or anxiety is the negative thing that you do. Whatever that negative thing that you do, that's your vice. And you have to admit that you have a problem with that. If you understand what I'm saying, like that's what it really means. And that's for me. I try to be a positive person, a nice person, a generous person. You know, I don't ever ask for much. I do beg for likes on videos. That's about the much as I ask people to do. I beg for a thumbs up, I beg for a comment, and I beg for a subscription and a share. So that's the only begging you're ever gonna get from me. Um, I'm a YouTuber, as they say, but I'm not a YouTuber like you're trying to make an income from YouTube. That's not what happens here. I think every month I get like 10 pounds. like, so this is not what this channel's about. This channel is just about sharing my life in the UK, what it's like, traveling overseas, business deals that I do, stuff like that. And right now I'm just sharing a real life that I'm in the hospital. I had a mental breakdown over Christmas. I'm here. And I've had to deal with that, and I've had to accept that. And so, so maybe in the future, my children watch this video and they can understand that, yeah, your dad isn't perfect, never was going to be perfect, and struggle just like maybe you're watching this video 10 years in the future. My children are watching it 10 years in the future. I don't know. You're going to struggle. That's life. It's life. But guess what? Today is the present. That's the gift. Today's the present. That's the gift. So let's see. We got any more comments coming? I see people are joining in more and more. I'm appreciating that. We must be getting a lot of thumbs up going. So I appreciate that. Let me put the Discord server up there again. Boom, boom, bam. There it is. Consider joining if you want. Yeah. Hey, I can actually say, hey, if anybody wants to join in, if somebody got something to say, there it is right there. Click that link or write that link in a thing. I don't know how to make it happen. I don't know. That's what I'll do. Let me do this. Let's do this. Maybe I'll put it in the chat myself. I can chat, right? Let me see. That's how you check the Discord. And then let me do this. Let me see. How do I do the... Let me see. There we go. I'll do this, and I'll put this in the chat. I think it should come through. I'm hoping they're coming through. So yeah, let's see. We got more people popping up. I love it. Hey, Sang is there. Yes, 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 yes. I love it. I love it. Hey, we're gonna do the quiz tomorrow. So I expect to see you there. We're going to need you to be the first quiz of the year. Yes. Yes. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. I think we're missing Howard. We're missing Damien. We're missing just a few people, just a few more regulars. But man, we've been having a good chat about mental health here in the UK. So we're just going to keep it going. Hit the like button. Please hit that like button. Hey, we got a new member on the Discord. Wave to you. Hey, Andrew. Welcome. I got the Discord up at the same time. Hey, Andrew. Thank you for joining. So I think pumping it actually does work. So let's put it again. Bing. If you want to join the Discord, feel free to join the Discord to say hello. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. What else? So we just been talking mental health, like, here in the UK, but here in the US as well. Everybody's going through this high inflation, right? And I don't want to say I was getting my hair cut the other day. We're not in hyperinflation. We're just in abnormal high inflation, and that's causing a lot of pressures in a lot of households. That is causing a lot of anxiety issues. So that's why it's called the mental health crisis here in the UK, because it's causing a lot of anxiety. How are you going to put food on the table? How are you going to put fuel in your car? How you're going to keep your house warm? How you're going to pay, maybe your new rent? How are you going to pay the mortgage because the interest rate have gone from 1.2% to 5%? There's a whole host of things that are driving people to high anxiety, depression, PTSD, mental issues, etc., etc. And I'm sat here telling everybody, as an American living here, that I've suffered from that. I've been in hospital since Christmas, guys, and it's just accepting that I had a problem. Like I couldn't handle being depressed, and it becomes a negative thinking. It becomes quicksand in my life, and it weighs me down, because what I haven't shared with you guys is there's other issues that are like really big in my life outside of just holiday stuff. There's business issues that are like weigh you down, you know, and it just brings you down. So yeah, I'll keep the whole. I'm kind of liking this. Like I can pop the. Oh, we got 9 comments. Let me get to these comments. You're noticing it significantly each time I get food from supermarket. Man, Andy, hold on. This is a good question. This is a good comment. I went, I went yesterday to get some deodorant. Okay, I said, dang, when did the deodorant, the spray deodorant, jump up to this amount of cost? Like I just couldn't believe it. I was just like, dang, I clearly haven't paid attention, because I've had like 2 bottles of deodorant, some extra ones in the house, around me for like a year or something like that. I had a bunch. So I never paid attention. Then I went to buy some yesterday. I was like, whoa, weren't these like a pound? I was like, when the heck did they become like $4.99? Oh man. Woo, you don't want those US food prices. I tell you a true story. This is a true story. So whenever I go to America to see my daughters, when they used to live on the East, they now live on the East Coast, but they were living in the Philadelphia area. I'd always have to get an Airbnb. And it was great to get an Airbnb because it could be a home. I could go to some home and not be in a hotel. They could run around in there. Maybe there's a backyard, stuff like that. But I would always come in there, Airbnb, into the house, and there'd be nothing in the refrigerator. No seasoning, no nothing. So every time I come into the States to see them, I'd have to go to the Walmart, or like the Asda equivalent at the time, and I'd have to go buy everything. Man, and it would be like, man, how for a week I'm getting ready to spend 500-600 pound dollars on groceries. And it'd be like, man, it ain't that many of us. And I was like, this is crazy. It's like I could do here in the UK, I could shop for a month on, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, if that's what I wanted. Did I buy a big bottle of juice, Carl? I don't get the big bottle of juice. Now, Cedric, now I'm seeing the memes going around the interwebs about prices of eggs. I hear they're going through the roof. I hear they're getting really, really high. Um, I'm not sure the price of eggs. You gotta realize I haven't been. Yesterday was like the first time I went in a grocery store. So I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to the price of eggs, but I'm gonna go look at the prices of eggs. I hear it's getting like really, really, really ridiculous out there in the U.S. There's an egg shortage, so you know, let's click this here. Bing, bing, bing. Yeah, so I'm just curious your questions about, if you have any questions about mental health, if you've got questions about healthcare here in the UK, what it's like. I mean, a lot of people here are from the UK, but Cedric, you're in from California, you're in the Bay Area. If you got any questions about it, let me know. I'm prepared to be open and honest and have a chat. That's what this live chat is all about. Just communicating. just sharing my experience. So, our powdered eggs. Who wants powdered eggs, boy? I don't want no powdered eggs. The only crisis of juice out here, LC, that I can recall seeing on the internet is this prime juice or whatever that is. So yeah, community gardening. Yeah. Cedric, I'm curious, why do you call yourself Cedric Williams Fine Art? You do fine art? You have a store? Pop the website here in the comments. I'd love to check out the fine art gallery that you have. Would love to see it. If you could, pop it in the comments. So yeah, man, it's been like, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna double back on some stuff here in the UK. So one thing that I found interesting about this hospital stay is that mental health, don't get me wrong, they treat you with, I've been on antidepressant, sertraline, I've been on diazepam, which is Valium. I've had quite a few medicines as they take, and I don't really take a lot of medicines, so it's weird for me. And I can see that I feel better. My emotions are better. But one thing that caught me off guard in terms of mental health care in the NHS here in the UK at the hospitals is that a psychologist is like a new thing apparently. Like it's just not been part of the treatment for people with acute issues. And it's amazing. And then it's like, but then what are you doing for people? Like I get it, you're trying to keep people safe from harming themselves. But at the same time, people who are dealing with high depression, high anxiety, you know, end up doing negative things to themselves. And if you're not taking the time to have a psychologist, if a psychologist is new, what have you been doing for the last 100 years on the NHS? I'm just appalled and shocked by it. I've been part of a study, and I did an interview with the University of Manchester about a week ago. I did an interview with a young lady. Forget her name. Her name slips my mind. Might come to me later. And we talked about the benefits of psychologists and having a psychologist on the ward. I found it interesting that I was having that conversation. Like I was taken aback that here I am as an inpatient talking to participating in a study and a conversation about mental health and about why we need a psychologist on a mental health ward or unit of the hospital. And I'm thinking, if you are the higher up and you're listening to this and you don't understand why you would want a psychologist in psychiatry on a mental ward, then you need to hand in your resume, your resignation. That's what I said. I said, I literally leaned into the microphone and I said, if you're hearing this and you're sat there trying to understand and justify why you need this on a mental health ward, you are not qualified for the job title that you have. And thus, I accept your resignation because it's ridiculous that you would, do that. It's like, what is the plan to just give, everybody just nothing but pills, be a pill mill, never fix root cause issues, never get to breaking the cycle of the spiraling aspects of anxiety, the spiraling aspects of depression, the spiraling aspects of PTSD. Oh, we're just going to just medicate you, and then have you leave. But you've never fixed the root cause. You never fixed the underlying issue. I like that. We have Marie Elaine. They reach crisis. Marie Elaine. How are you doing, Marie Elaine? Welcome to the channel. I'm certain I've never seen this person before. How are you feeling now? What did you do to get better? I'm glad you got help. Men, particularly in the Black community, tend to soldier on without help until they reach crisis. So I'm going to leave this comment up. And Marie, I want to thank you so much. Hit that like button. Consider subscribing. all that kind of good stuff, as every YouTube channel always tells people to do. Okay, I'm gonna leave this comment out. I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna deep dive this thing. How am I feeling now? I'm feeling fantastic. Okay, my spirit, my energy, my optimism is up. Okay, what did you do to get better? What did I do to get better? The real question is, how did I end up where I'm at in the hospital? So, what did I do to get better? I admitted I was sectioned, as they say, into a mental hospital for depression, for deep depression. Okay, um, to stop myself from self harming. And I've been in since Christmas, the 25th of December. Been in there, been in here. Um, I'm glad I got help. Now, part of this conversation is about, and I like that you brought, the Black community, men particularly. We don't talk about mental health. We don't talk about our struggles. We for some reason have the pressure of life to be manly man. Here in the UK, they say the stiff upper lip, and it's not a healthy way to live your life. And how did I get better? How did I soldier on? How did I get better? It's simple. I have a great friend named Charles. I can't say his last name, but he's a very successful person in Southern California. Okay, very successful. And a few years back, he admitted that he had a problem with alcohol. And I've used him as an analogous to my situation in the hospital, was to say, Carl, you have a problem with depression and anxiety and even anger at times. And you need to sit there and openly admit it. Say you have a problem. Say you have this negative vice and negative spiral when these three things are culminating, and you need to deal with. So if you admit it, you can try to fix it. And that's what I've been working on. The problems are still there tomorrow. They're still there right now in the present. But what I'm trying to do is learn to ground myself, stop thinking of the most negative outcome that could possibly happen. And at the same time, try to continue to work towards root cause, try to self-evaluate, and just have more positive thinking in my life. Not negative people. I don't have negative people in my life, but be more positive thinking and not think the worst, because I have the pressures of life like everybody else. I'm just like you, Marie, just like you. So I thank you for that comment. I think it's a really great comment. Thank you so much. We got Cedric. Oh, okay, he's in San Francisco. He paints scenery. Fantastic. Let me see. We got VC saying it, get it. Recognize I have the power of choice on speech, action, carrying that mental baggage was a light bulb moment. Power more than bright side for me. Exactly. You know, in some of the workshops and the therapy sessions was about recognizing, um, letting go, letting go of the negative thoughts, but recognizing that the negative thoughts, you're welcome, Maria. I see you saying thank you. But recognizing that the negative thoughts are the reason why you keep feeling like they've put it this way too. They say you'll think a certain way, you'll think something negative, and it's going to cause a physical reaction to you. You're going to feel sick, you're going to feel dizzy, your palms will get sweaty. You know what I mean? Your leg might start shaking. You're going to do a physical thing. Some physical thing is going to take place. Maybe you start yelling, something physical. You're going to do something physical because you're thinking negative. You're going to feel that way, right? And then because of that, you're going to do something negative. You're going to do something negative. It could be, and sometimes in my situation, it's death by text message. Like if I'm having an issue with somebody, it might be 1,000 text messages. It could be yelling at somebody through text messaging. It could be yelling at somebody directly. It could be feeling like I shouldn't even be here. I'm not worthy of something. And so that could be the negative thought that could make me feel a certain way. Then because I don't feel worthy, I want to do something to get rid of that feeling, and it's a negative outcome. And so it's like quicksand. And a comment was made earlier, I forget who it was, but they said like depression and stuff. It loves a friend. It loves companionship. And then Andy has just said, I think it's our thoughts can be both our best friend and our worst enemy and can have a dramatic effect on our health and well-being. Well said, well said, well said, 100%. So our thoughts, and that's the thing, like one of the sessions was talking about, it's just a thought. It hasn't happened yet. Whatever this negative thing you might be thinking, it's a thought. It hasn't happened. Whether it be, it could be a real concern. There's real concerns, but it hasn't happened yet. And like I always butcher my uncle's saying, but at the end of the day, the past is in the past. It's unchangeable. The future is unknown, but today is the present, and that's the gift. I think I might have said it right for the first time, but today's the present, and that's the gift. So you can fix it and you can work on it. Hey, Howard's made it. Okay, I got to stop. I got to put Howard up there. There we go. This is for Howard. Howard's going to get a good 30-second shout out to himself. Thank you so much. Howard has gracefully reached out to me since basically about day one of finding out. And he has been in constant communication with me, checking on me from time to time, like a few other people here. And it means the world to me that they would do that. And I'm always so thankful for that because it meant the world to me. Howard is based up in Manchester area here in the UK. And so I'm just happy to see him on the chat. And I don't have to get an email from him apologizing for missing the live stream, which would have happened if he'd have missed the live stream. So there we go. And and then one more for Howard. There's your invite to the Discord right there on the screen. Okay. And anybody that wants to join, there it is right there. There it is right there on the screen. We'll leave it up there. Hey, oh my goodness. Wow. I got Shelly on. Ooh, Shelly, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to go back to the start. I've missed it. Shelly, you haven't missed it. Oh, thank you so much for joining, Shelly. It's been a while, but Shelly is a wonderful person. She's up in the Sheffield area here in the UK. Just an amazing person, and I'm happy that you joined. It's a long stream, so you don't need to go back. I'll probably repeat some of the themes here and have an open conversation. But it's good to see Shelly back here, and so I'm going to try to get back to doing my thing here. And but there's the Discord for Howard. Hopefully, he can figure out the how to make it happen. But write that down. That's it right there. I know it's worked because we had a new person named Andy join. So there we go. Perfect. That's that there. So we're just talking mental health. Okay. It's as a black man, I'm always going to be a black man. It's not mental health is not a conversation that I've ever had, with people. One of my fraternity brothers, my frat brother, he was like, when I told him only a couple days ago, because some of my fraternity members came down to London, I was going to meet up with them. But I was like, I'm in the hospital. I've been in the hospital since Christmas. This is only like a week ago. And I said, I can't come down there and go see everybody, which I would have. And he says, man, he said, all this time I didn't know. He said, you've been giving me all this grief. We've been going back and forth over the Philadelphia Eagles versus my 49ers. And he was like, I didn't even know. And it's just because we don't normalize talking about our mental health. We just don't for some reason. And even now, I still don't. It's hard to open up to people and tell people that, hey, I'm struggling with something right now. Okay. Okay, Shelly. Sounds good. You know how to reach me, Shelly. And we got Andy saying, I got a great idea of what it's like. I was in major depression in my 20s, almost had a nervous breakdown. I wouldn't quite accept or admit I was in it. Didn't realize how bad it was till I came out of it. Yes, Andy. That's been the thing, man. I knew I wasn't well mentally because I wasn't dealing well, but I was trying to masquerade and I kept lying to myself and my family, my friends, and my loved ones. And hit that like button, guys. I gotta always push that I gotta remember as like if I when I get back to the swing of things, hit the like button. That's the only thing I'm ever gonna beg. Well, I'm gonna beg you for a few things. Hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, leaving me a comment, and sharing the video. I think those are the four pillars of YouTube of the YouTube gospel, right? You're supposed to tell people to do those four things. So I'm always going to say that, and I always forget to say it. So let me do that. Oh, and also, hey, join the Discord. That's the new thing too. So now I got 5 things to remember to push. Join the Discord, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, share the video. There we go. So that's me. That's there, and we'll see. So the Discord is a way we can talk more interactively, more live per se. So it's pretty cool, and we'll see how we build this thing. I'm new to this whole Discord thing, trying to make it work, but we'll turn it into something. We'll turn it into something. And for me, I'm using it as the behind the scenes kind of unveil the curtain. And this is where I'm going to stop and say for anybody in the UK having a mental health issue, please text 85258 on your phone and all major UK mobile networks. Somebody will contact you from the crisis line. That's very important to do. Okay. So I want to make sure I say that. And let's hit the comment section. Boom, 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 boom. Marie Elaine, you're still here. I'm so happy that you're here, Marie. Thank you so much. Marie, where are you from? Leave that comment for us. Where are you from? I almost say where you calling from, but where are you from? Marie, men are happy to share gym tips for the physical body, but don't talk about what's going on in your head. And you're right. Now, I'm gonna be totally honest. I probably need to go to the gym. It'd probably be a lot better if I did. Um, yeah, I think I need to go back to the gym because this belly is getting a little too big. And then we got Sang talking about Englishmen. And this is what we hit on earlier about that stiff upper lip. Englishmen are definitely not allowed to express emotional weakness. Definitely. And it's not a weakness. What I have said in a few of the sessions that I've had with either the psychologist or the therapist is to say I have to allow myself to be vulnerable or to be open and share my concerns because it's so hard when you have something negative, right? Everybody's can relate to this for an example. And how I've talked to people about, say, imagine you're in a relationship with somebody, right? You have something negative you want to tell that person, and it is driving you crazy all day long to tell that person. And then you don't tell them because you justify not telling them because you keep putting it off, because you're worried about their reaction to it. But at the same time, you've already played it in your mind what the outcome is, and you haven't given them a chance. You've robbed them of that opportunity. And how many of us do that in our lives? That's not healthy thinking. If you trust that person, you have to trust that they're going to support you in whatever the negative thing you need to say to them, or they wouldn't be there. Comments are starting to roll through. Let's see what we got here. Thank you for all the comments. I'm injured on December 16th, 2022, doing a backflip on the beach. Hey, Cedric, at least you could do a backflip. I can't do a backflip. Get out for a walk in the sunshine. LC says, get out for a walk in the sunshine tomorrow. I'm going to, first time in a while, for a walk, blow these cobwebs away. It's a bit, yeah, it's supposed to get really cold here in the UK. So I don't know about going for a walk, but, I'd love to. I walked to the grocery store. They don't use the term grocery store here. I walked to the to the Aldi. Jeez, I walked to Aldi and it started spitting raining on me. I hated it. I hated that. So, but like and subscribe, peoples. That's my favorite right there. Hit the like and subscribe. I love it. I love it. But yeah, man, it's been a crazy. So she's up in the Northeast. You're in the Geordie Shores area, so it's probably freezing cold up there. But it ain't that cold here in the Midlands, so I can tell you that. What's funny is I like riding bikes, but you believe I don't even own a bike? I ain't, I don't own a bike. Saying is said, true, Carl. But then when you do open up to people you trust and they shun you because they now see you as weak, then they have to. And this is why saying this is. I'm glad you brought that point up, man. It's a salient point. Okay, we worry that, like you said, partners especially, and I'm going to hit on that. We worry about how what we need to say or do is going to be perceived by the other person, right? You've already played it out how it's going to be, and you're scared to be vulnerable. Especially as men, we're scared to be vulnerable to, partners, which is a wrong way to look at it. Especially if you pick somebody you're with, hopefully you've picked them for the right reasons and they're strong and supportive of you. That old saying that people say, behind every great man there's a great woman, and vice versa, right? Well, if you're a great person, then behind you is a great woman helping you, uplifting you. So why are you so scared to tell them? And that's the thought process we have to break. That's the cycle we have to break. Um, and I've just had to admit it's okay to be vulnerable. I'm not saying I'm going to sit here and cry the next day, boo hoo hoo. You know, um, because this medicine makes it very hard to cry. And be totally honest with you. Case in point, my dear aunt is dealing with terminal. I don't know. She's not terminal. Yeah, I don't want to use the term terminal. She's at stage 4 lung cancer, and she stopped all treatments. And when I found that out and I talked to her, even though I wanted to cry, I just couldn't cry just because of the medicine. I believe the medicine is keeping me kind of even keeled in my emotions. But but I still, at the same time, my grandmother always taught me and told us, give me my flowers while I can still smell them. And so that's a motto that I live in my life. Give your loved ones the flowers while they can still smell them. Let's see here. Apparently, there's lots of cheap secondhand bikes online. Yeah, I need to get a bike. I just need to start exercising again. Maybe at one time saying, but being able to admit you feel vulnerable is now seen as a sign. But there's another point I wanted to come back to Sang's comment about partnership. This is why I believe, for me, for my mental health, for me to be vulnerable and to open up to people, is I have to. But for me, I need the third party neutral person, not the friend, not the neighbor, not somebody who is connected some way to me, but having that person I can talk to, that therapy session where I can talk to, bounce ideas off, talk about it, and muster up the courage to tell and talk with people about what's going on and be vulnerable in that way, because I have that same worry about being perceived as vulnerable and talking about my mental health. So thank you for that. Let me see here. Let me check on the chats. Man, we've been going for a while. I love it. I love it. Maybe a one-time saying, but being able to admit, obviously near impossible. So many deceivers out there. Man, hold on. This is staying here. I need to star this. No, is it this one? Yeah, this one. I'm starring this one because this is a perfect comment. We deceive ourselves first before we deceive anybody. Think about that. Think about that. Stop and think about that. You fooled yourself first before you pulled the wool over anybody's eyes. I don't care what it is. I don't care if we're talking mental health. I don't care if we're talking business transactions. I don't care if we're talking work. If you know what's going on is false, you have fooled yourself. If you know things aren't going how they're supposed to go, you fooled yourself first, because you're masking it, you're hiding it. And you can't fix something, no matter what realm it's in, until you admit that it is going the wrong way. I don't care if it's politics or not. Until the politicians admit that something is wrong, whatever their course of action is wrong, they're fooling themselves. I appreciate people who can admit that the course that they're going is the wrong course, because I've always liked to believe as a leader, you should be self-correcting at all times. So at the moment of making a fork decision, a leader makes a decision based on the best available information at the time. And if that's the best information at the time, you make said decision. And if new information comes in and says you should steer back the other way, then you should be able to go back the other way. It's not, there should be no shame in that. That should be looked as a virtue, but for some reason in politics specifically, they don't like people going left, right, and then course correcting. It's like, why would we keep driving off the cliff if we know the cliff is coming? New information is coming that the cliff is there. But you get the point. I don't want to labor the point. And so, it's self-identifying issues as well. That's a struggle. And so I'm gonna continue to repeat. I'm not 100% okay. I'm not 100% me. I would say I'm about 95% me. I would say that I can't fool myself. I'm on a journey. I've treated this stay in the hospital like being at Alcoholics Anonymous, AA. Admitting you have a problem dealing with depression or anxiety. Does it make you a bad person? Does it make me a bad father? Does it make me a bad lover? Does it make me anything bad? It's just saying, hey, you got a problem. You're not dealing with it well. You don't deal with it well. And there was a lot of reasons that drove that quicksand or that drainage, death spiral. I don't call it death spiral, but that negative spiral down, from issues from business to relationships to family to friends to all those kind of things. It plays and runs a toll on you. So yes. So yeah, that's what's going on. I'm supposed to say hit the like button again. So hit the like button. I think I've said it 5 times already, but if I haven't said it 5 times, hit the like button. Consider subscribing. And hit the comment section. So yes, I'm supposed to say that 1.5 times as a YouTuber. So we'll do that. Oh yeah, and hit the Discord if you want to join and have a more, intimate conversation, I guess is the word, but more real-time conversation with me. Hit the Discord. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna build in there, a community. And yeah, that's how that's gonna go. So there's the Discord link. Yeah, that's that. We can continue to talk about what we're talking about. Cedric Williams. I like this. I like this Cedric Williams guy. Owning up to your lies and flaws is the start of recovery. We must give truth. I love it. I love it. I love it. Andy Williams, great shame you can't hit the like button multiple times. Yeah. I understand. I appreciate that. Let me start that comment too. Boom. I know I gotta repeat it. Oh, I know it gets like, ridiculous. I constantly have to say it, but that's the you can't go on a YouTube channel and not hear somebody saying hit the like button to subscribe. So I have run folly of that same thing. So yeah, I was gonna share this. I was looking at this. I don't know why I didn't put it on the screen. I kind of wanted it like this. Yeah, I kind of wanted it like that. And it was interesting that the UK is talking about has boosted mental health services by 150 million pounds. I thought we were sending 350 million a week to the EU, but that's another topic for another day. But I haven't even read this. Let's read this. 150 million pounds will be used to build 150 new facilities to support mental health, urgent and emergency care services. This is very important. This is good because I became aware last week that literally all beds were full in the UK. All beds. They had no beds for people dealing with these acute mental health issues. So anyone experiencing a mental health emergency will benefit from more tailored emergency care and support in the community through specialized mental health ambulances, more crisis services, and improved health-based safe places for safety. 150 million invested up to April 2025 will better support people experience or at risk of experiencing mental health crises to receive care and support in more appropriate settings outside of A&E, helping to ease pressure and facing the NHS, which is good. Good to see that. Patients presenting with mental health problems are twice as likely to spend 12 hours or more in emergency departments than other patients. Yes, for sure. That I can attest to. While some of these patients will be in A&E for urgent medical care, we know that often they will be better treated elsewhere. That is for sure. That's good. That's very good. Prime Minister said people in mental health crisis deserve compassionate care in a safe and appropriate setting. Too often they end up in A&E when they should be receiving specialist treatment elsewhere. That is for sure. It's not A&E. That's not where mental health needs to go. This is important funding. So that's good to see that they're boosting that up. Is that enough? I don't know. I'm not a I don't track the government spending like that. But to see that they're doing that, it's a good start. What did Marie say? Marie said T. The what is what? The Gov knew more mental health aid after lockdown. Yes, mental health service UK are starting from near nothing though. True, true. They're start. So, like I said, I'm giving my first take experience being in there. It's very interesting because these people care and they work long hours, guys. Long hours. I just want to give you an example from what I've seen. They work 14 and a half hour shifts, hence why they've been on strike. So imagine, let's be mindful. There's only 24 hours in a day. Okay. There's only 24 hours in a day. They work 14 and a half hours. I'm in Derby. And some people live all the way in Nottingham, which is, if you drive in your own car, easily, depending on where you're at, is a 30 to 45-minute drive. Easy. Now, some of these nurses and stuff and staff are taking the bus. So that's easily 1 hour. So imagine 14 and a half hour shift, walk outside, go try to catch the bus. Maybe your bus is late, maybe it's on time. You go from one bus to the depot. By the time that takes you 30 minutes, then you got the hour bus ride. So there's 15. Now you're at 16 hours just getting there. You sleep. There's only 8 hours left, but guess what? You got to wake. It's going to take you an hour and a half just to get up and get back to work. So that really only leaves you with like 6 hours of sleep. When did you eat? When did you really rest? If you have 14 and a half hour shift, it's pretty crazy. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to try to be fair. I don't think they're like, it's labor intensive for 14 and a half hours, but boy, is it time intensive for 14 and a half hours. That's hard for anybody. Who imagine that doing 14 and a half hour shifts 4 or 5 days a week? Now, I told him, I said, hey, now, if you were telling me I could do 14 and a half hour shifts for 4 days straight and be off for 3 days, I'd do it every time. It'd be no problem. The problem is they don't have enough staff. So they'll do 14 and a half hours, do that 4 times, maybe come in, take 1 day off, then come right back in because they got to fulfill, they need, they're short staff. So it becomes crazy. And since they're short staff, I mean, it's just like, I got to really know some of these people and they're very compassionate, caring people. And I can't thank enough to Perry, one of the nurses, um, so much. I think I can pull up. I'm going to read an email that I sent um, to the to the to the to the NHS. I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to read this out to you right here. I'm going to read this. So I sent this email. You guys can't see it on the screen, but this is what I wrote. I wrote this on January 12th. I said, I'd like to take the time to write a letter of thanks and compliments to a specific, I don't know why it says meme, but I meant to be member of staff here at Radbourne at the hospital here in Derby. Specifically, I'd like to thank and acknowledge Perry. That's her first name. Can't say her last name. as she has been nothing short of amazing to me and the care and attention. When I arrived here late Christmas Day, I was outside myself. I spent several days to myself and simply not getting well mentally. It was one evening after several days, I guess she had enough, in a very positive way to say it, and came into my room at midnight and looked me straight in my eyes and gave me that motherly, frank talk that sometimes we all need. She encouraged me to talk more. She encouraged me to seek help and understand why I'm here. Understand that there is no shame in what led you here, but to come out of your shell and talk. She said she is always there to talk. And true to form, whenever she is there, she is never too far to talk or pull me aside to ask me questions and talk through things. Perry, Perry represents what is best about nursing and care. Thank you. And that is literally an email that I sent on January 12th. So, yeah, it was pretty interesting to me. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. Let's see here. Let's get to the comments. We got more comments coming in. Bomb Squad in Belper. Oof. Oof. I know where Belper's at. Exactly. Maria Lane saying I struggle doing 10 hours a day. Imagine doing 14 and a half. Who could do so much time? You know. Yeah. Yes, Howard. Yes. Thank you for that. Yes, she really was. And you realize a lot of these people are doing thankless jobs in there, and I've taken the time to, I should point out a woman named Cheryl. She's the lady who cleans up and serves, she mops the floors and cleans the place up. I took the time yesterday. And I just said, I know it's a thankless job, and I just want to thank you for keeping the place clean and tidy for us to give us an environment that at least allows us to get better. And I said thank you to her. Her name was Cheryl, 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 something like that. Yeah, very kind lady. And I just said, I know it's thankless. A lot of jobs are thankless, but I just said I want to recognize and tell you thank you myself. So same in Belgium, my friend. In mental health and nurse training, told if they go less than full time hours, they will have to do more hours anyway to cover the staff who have burnt out. Exactly. Oh, I can see. So when I talk about these 14 and a half hours, it's in context of the NHS strikes as well. So I can understand why these nurses striked because, whew, whew, I mean, who wants to do 14 and a half hour days? Your letter will mean the absolute world to them. Yes. Man of your word, giving them their flowers. Exactly, Elsie. Yes, 100%. My grandmother taught me to give people their flowers while they can still smell them. And I try to stay true to form to that. I will always try to give people their flowers while they can still smell them because, again, life is hard for everybody. Everybody's going through something. Everybody's trying to work hard. Not every, there's only so many people who have like literally all the money in the world, right? So, but even if they have all the money, they still got other problems. But most of us have to go to work, get up early, grind, make money, come home, spend money, build this. Boiler just breaks out of nowhere. Car gets a flat tire. Heck, I had the flat tire twice in like rapid succession. Boom. Then I had to replace all the tires like shortly thereafter. So we're all going through that. Hit that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel, comment. I always got to say that. Sorry. And it doesn't cost you much just to say thank you to somebody. If it's the janitor or if it's the nurse or it's somebody. So I personally try to make sure, if I can, give people their flowers while they can still smell them, because it don't take much time to say thank you, and be genuinely thankful to that person. I could write a letter to a lot of the nurses there and to a lot of the staff there that have been pretty great. Hey, Sangs, join the Discord. Welcome. Boom. I told you, Jude, I would pump the Discord. Boom. So I've been pumping it. I've been pumping it as best I can. Yeah. So it's always been the way I've tried to carry myself in business and in life. Is if I can say thank you to somebody, like I've said to Howard earlier, and I've written Howard a few times how much his outreach to me helped. And you realize these are people who, from LC to Sit and Spin to Sang to VC to Howard to man to a lot of, I've never physically have ever seen any of them. Never. They most of them could walk right past me. I'd never know that they was there. But they took the time because they've been involved in the channel, talking with me, following me, communicate with me, just participate in the channel. Like I said, I'm a YouTuber in the sense that I'm just documenting my life, talking about my life, and saying, hey, and just going, hey, saying, let me go howdy in the Discord. Hey now. And it meant the world to me to just reach out, and just say, how are you doing? Checking on you, and I put it out there that I was in the hospital, that I was going through a mental issue. So it really meant the world. So, if I say thank you, if I'm giving you flowers, I really am trying to give you your flowers while you can still smell them, you know. Yeah. And so if Carly is still here, she knows I've given her a task. I've asked her to do something. I'm hoping she can do it if she's still here. I know she's working, but I've asked her to do something, and I hope she can do it. And but that's a that's a conversation for another day. Um, so yeah, man, it's been an interesting journey of self discovery and healing, and there's still more healing that I need to do internally. There's still more healing I need to do externally, family, friends, stuff like that. Um, but it's a recognizing, and it's okay to be vulnerable. And I'm putting it out there as a black man living in the United Kingdom from America, saying it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to tell somebody you're struggling. What I would request to the community out there, the people out there, is if someone comes to you that way, you have to stop and understand that they are confiding in you something that's very deep to them, and they need you. They need you to be non-judgmental. They need you to be supportive, even if you upset with them. Even if you just like, if I see you, I can't stand you. But if somebody comes to you and telling you they're having this, you have to set aside your differences and recognize that this person has come to you because they love you or they have a connection to you, that they are leaning on you and looking for your support. You never know. Nobody's promised tomorrow. Heck, I was reading in the newspaper that some girl in Australia just got eaten by a shark. Jesus. Nobody wake up, promise tomorrow. We're not promised tomorrow. You don't know. It could be something as simple as just going swimming, and you never get a chance to give that person their flowers. And that person was there asking you for help or confiding in you. And were you there? Did you step up to the plate? And I have to challenge myself. Have I stepped up to the plate if somebody's come to me? You know? Marie has said, Marie, Marie, you've been amazing on this chat this whole time. I really got to tell you this because you're actively participating, and I love it. I thank you. What I find scary is you are an articulate, confident man. That's what Howard would tell you, that I'm very confident as well. So thank you. What about those men who are not articulate or confident and suffer in silence or self harm? That's a good, I don't, the conversation, I don't have the solutions. I'm not the person in power. I will be an advocate for it, for mental health going forward. I definitely will. Because I already told the hospital, I was like, man, how can I give back? Like, how can I like donate or something? Like, what can I do? You know, like, what can I do? How is there a way I can just give back some way, somehow? You know, and it's interesting. So that's something I'm going to struggle with. I'm going to talk about for the next couple, weeks and months. I'm going to figure that out. But yeah, what do we do with the people who suffer in silence? You know, I think I was suffering in silence. People who saw me never thought there was a problem. They maybe thought I was maybe being a little quieter than normal, but I never thought it was that bad. And I'm not ashamed. I don't mind, talking about it. It's just you got to talk about it, and if somebody wants to talk, it's one of those things like I think society does this a lot. You ever do this? I think everybody's done this. They'll message somebody they know they're going through something, and they'll just say, "I'm here if you want to talk." They send a message. Well, that's you putting the onus on them to reach out. I don't. I would challenge you to do the opposite. The moment you want to write somebody and say, "I'm here if you want to talk," don't do that. Don't do that. Show up. Talk to them. Get there. I'm here if you need any help. How many times people message you something like that, or you've met somebody, their house might have burnt down or something, something just a normal part of life. And you message, "Hey, I'm here if you need anything." Well, most people aren't going to admit that they need anything, but they do need something. Just give, just do it. Just recognize, go see for yourself, analyze what they need and support them. That's the challenge I'd give to everybody, is to do that, because most people are going to try to push away help. I don't need help because I don't want you too close. I don't want you knowing everything. But if you show up, show up. Love. I wrote something that I will share. Unfortunately, I will have to. I don't have to, but I've wrote something to give to my aunt. I've given her flowers while she can still smell them. I did that a couple days ago. I'm not sharing it yet, what I wrote, because unfortunately, at some point, whether she's going to be here another month or another 10 years, I will share what I wrote to her. It's something only me, her, and my uncle knew. And it was between us three. And I shared that with her. And I'll share it with you guys later about giving her flowers. But the point that I'm trying to make is that people need to feel your love too. You need to impart love. And so part of what I was trying to get at is that children, they deal in the currency of love. That's what they deal with. They oblivious to the world's problems. They deal in the currency of love. And everybody knows, like, if you come into a child's life when they're young and you give them love, that love stays with you as you get older. And maybe you ain't seen her for 10 years. It'd be Mrs. Smith, who you ain't seen since you was 12. But for like 5 years, she was always around and you just knew her as this lovely person because she imparted love into your life. But when you see her, you're just so happy to see her 20 years later. There you are, 32 years old, and you see her, and now she's 75, and but the memory, the love that she imparted in you stays with you. And so that's, for me, is why I say show up and show out for people that going through that moment. You're going to text somebody and say, "I'm here if you need something." Just show up. They need you. Trust me, they need you. Death by shark is a pretty quick message. Where it go? Yeah. Let's see here. Get to some more comments. I got to keep saying, hit the like button for the new people that show up. It must have been torture. Yeah. Da, 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 da. And sometimes Jude, yeah, they are the ones who need the help, as being perceived as strong and confident all the time is daring. Thanks, Marie. Elaine, I still have weakness toward the predator, but now in my late 30s, I know the early warning signs and take care, early actions, keep myself. Exactly. It's learning those. And then it's dealing with the triggers, finding those triggers that will help you implement positive. The term that I've learned is coping strategies, because you got to learn to cope. The problem's still there. I still got problems, guys. Oh man, I still got problems. I still got problems. Big ones too, boy. Woof. Big ones. Big ones. Big ones. Big ones. Big ones. And but they there. And you know, for me, I hid some very massive problems from my family. I've said it, I've told my family this before. I said, I know what it's like to lose in an hour what most people make in a year. I've had it happen before. I've had it happen a few times. And it is daunting, daunting to lose that kind of money. And it's embarrassing. Whew. And you don't know, you hide it, so it's the coping strategies. It's the coping strategies. And one of the coping strategies I'm having to come up with is the life problems are going to come. The financial problems, the business problems, the social problems, the friendship problems, the relationship problems, life's problems. They going to come. But do I have a coping strategy to deal with it? And do I ground myself in positive reinforcement, positive thinking, and stop the catastrophizing that can overtake our rational brain? And it's going to be, I've said it from the start. I ain't fixed. I ain't perfect. I ain't fooling myself. Just because I've been in the hospital this amount of time, the journey continues. Trust me, the journey continues for me. Exactly. Hey Howard, don't worry about the money side of things and the final recovery, the other stuff, the social recovery is just as important. So those problems are I don't I you know I don't worry about the money problems. That money to me just comes and goes. It's a tool. It's like a resource. I look at money as a resource. That's all I look at it as. It just is a resource, and just comes and goes. So. But yeah, I'm doing a lot better, guys, and that's why I went live. Man, I've gone live for an hour and 50 minutes. Jesus Christ, I did not think I was going to go live this long. Woof. But it's been a good chat, guys. I mean, it's been very energetic. Let me do this banner thing one last time here on the Discord. I think I'm just gonna have a good night. I think I'm gonna call it a night. We had a big talk, about stuff, and yeah, you know. So let's leave that there. I think that's it. Unless somebody's dying to join the show, you know. I don't know. I've never done it before, but you know, I'm paying for the service to allow somebody to be able to dial in. Thank you, Marie. You said brilliant. Hopefully, I got a new subscriber out of you. If people felt financially secure, guaranteed mental health issues wouldn't be as much. If we don't win the quiz, we can always enter the lottery. We're going to win this quiz tomorrow. Remember, it's the first quiz of the year. That's one thing that we always do on a Sunday. So I've been given permission to go to the pub quiz. So we're going to go to the pub quiz. We're going to do the pub quiz. It's going to be our first one, and we're going to smash it. We're going to smash it. We're going to smash it tomorrow. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So let's call it a night. I'll be active on the Discord, which is down below. Hit the like button, subscribe, say all that kind of jazz. You know how every YouTube channel does it. I appreciate the conversations, and we'll have more. So, in the Discord, that's where we'll talk about ideas of what to talk about. So I appreciate it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you later. Peace out. Woo, that was a long